I was standing in my wedding dress when my mother-in-law announced it. "Emma is not family. She doesn't belong here." The guests went silent. My little sister, the girl I raised after our parents died, stood frozen in the aisle. I opened my mouth to speak. Then the door at the back swung open. A man in judicial robes walked down the aisle. He was holding a sealed envelope. He looked at my mother-in-law, then at me. "I'm Judge Brennan," he said. "Before anyone says I do, there's a will that needs reading." My mother-in-law's face went white, because I had proof. Proof she knew exactly what that will said, and proof she'd tried to destroy my family to get her hands on it. Where are you watching from, and what time is it there? Drop a comment. And if you want to see how this played out, hit that like button and subscribe. You won't believe what happened next. Let me back up. I was 21 when my parents died. Car accident. No warning. Emma was 11. I became her legal guardian. The court gave me custody. I worked 2 jobs to keep us afloat. I put her through school. I went to every recital, every science fair. Our parents had left us a trust. Not huge, but enough. The lawyer told me it was for both of us. To be managed together, he said. I saved every document, every court paper, every bank statement. My mom had taught me that. Keep records, honey. You never know when you'll need them. I met Jake 3 years later. He was kind, patient. He said he loved that I was close with Emma. His mother, Diane, was different. From day one, she was cold, especially to Emma. She refused to include Emma in our engagement photos, said it would look too crowded. I told myself she'd warm up. That marriage would make us a real family. I was wrong. Diane had been planning something for months. She'd been digging into our trust, into our parents' will, and she'd decided Emma was in her way. 2 weeks before the wedding, Diane sat me down. She didn't waste time. "Emma can't come to the wedding." I stared at her. "Excuse me, she's not really your family," Diane said. "She's a dependent, it looks wrong." I felt my chest tighten. "She's my sister." "No," Diane said. "She's a girl you took in, there's a difference." I stood up. "Emma's coming, this isn't negotiable." Diane leaned back, she smiled. "If you insist on treating her like a sister, Jake and I will reconsider our support. You're about to be our family now, act like it." I looked at Jake. He was sitting there, quiet. "Jake," he wouldn't meet my eyes. "Can't you just compromise?" he said. "It's one day, like Emma didn't matter, like the last 10 years didn't matter." I walked out. Diane called after me. "You'll regret this." I had 2 weeks until the wedding, and I realized something. Diane didn't just want Emma gone, she wanted me alone, isolated. Why? 1 week before the wedding, Diane made her move. She called the venue, told them Emma was unstable and shouldn't be admitted. The coordinator called me confused. I fixed it, but I was shaking. Then, 3 days later, Emma got a letter. It was from a lawyer Diane had hired, a cease and desist. It claimed Emma had no legal relation to me, that she was misrepresenting herself as family. Emma was in tears when she showed me. "Am I really not your sister?" I held her. "You are, you always have been." But inside, I felt powerless. Diane had reach, money, a lawyer. I had 2 days until the wedding. I thought about canceling, just walking away. But that felt like letting her win. That night, I pulled out my parents' estate file, the one I'd kept in a fireproof box for 10 years. I started reading, and everything I needed was in there. My parents' will was 30 pages long. I'd skimmed it before, but I'd never really studied it. Now I did. Page 18, Clause 7. Trust funds may only be distributed if both daughters maintain a legal and emotional family bond. Any interference by outside parties will trigger trustee review. I read it again. Outside interference. Trustee review. Then I saw the codicil, added a year before the accident. It named a backup executor, someone who could step in case of family dispute. Judge Brennan, a family law judge my parents had known, his name, his phone number, right there in the file. My parents had built a safety net. They'd seen this coming, maybe not Diane. But someone like her, someone who'd try to split us apart, and Diane had no idea. I called Judge Brennan the next morning. He remembered my parents. He'd been waiting. What he told me changed everything. Diane found out I'd spoken to a lawyer. She didn't know it was the judge, but she panicked. She started a smear campaign. She texted every wedding guest. told them Emma had stolen from our family, that she was manipulating me. She posted on social media. Vague, concerned messages. Praying for my future daughter-in-law. Sometimes love makes us blind to toxic people. My friends started asking questions. Is this drama really worth it? Jake called me. Maybe we should just elope, start fresh. Elope, run away, pretend Emma didn't exist. I didn't answer. The day before the wedding, Diane hand-delivered a letter. I opened it. Remove Emma from the guest list or we pull our financial contribution. Jake's father will not attend. This is your final chance. Final chance. She thought she had all the power. She thought I was cornered. I looked at the letter, then I put it in the folder with everything else. I had a plan, and I didn't tell Jake. I didn't trust him anymore. Judge Brennan's office sent me a file. It came by secure email. Password protected. I opened it. My hands went cold. 2 months earlier, Diane had contacted our trust bank. She'd posed as concerned future family. She'd asked if the trust would transfer to Jake after the wedding. The bank flagged it, sent it to the executor. There was an email chain. Diane had tried to argue that Emma's guardianship was temporary, that I would move on after marriage. One line stood out. Once she's married, the sister won't matter. She knew about the family bond clause. She'd read the will, or had someone else read it. And she'd been trying to break that bond, to isolate me from Emma, so the trust would default, so she could control it through Jake. She wasn't protecting her son. She was hunting our money. Judge Brennan called me. Do you want me to intervene? I didn't hesitate. Yes. Judge Brennan's team ran a background check. It was legal. He had executor authority. What they found explained everything. Diane and her husband were drowning. Second mortgage, maxed credit cards, co-signed loans for Jake's brother. They were underwater by 6 figures. They'd been counting on Jake's marriage to bring relief, either through my income or through the trust. The trust was worth $1.2 million, managed jointly by me and Emma. Diane had done her homework. She knew that if she could break the family bond, the clause would void. The trust would default to me alone, and she thought she could control me. Through Jake, she thought marriage would make me hers. She'd miscalculated. I wasn't marrying into her family. I was trying to build my own, and Emma was part of it. Now I knew exactly what Diane had been doing, and I knew exactly what to do. It would happen in front of everyone. Judge Brennan and I made a plan. He would attend the wedding. As a guest of my family, if Diane tried to bar Emma, he would invoke his executor authority, and he would read the will, out loud, in front of everyone. I briefed the officiant, and the venue coordinator. They understood. I didn't tell Jake. I told Emma. If anything happens tomorrow, stay calm. Someone's got our back. She looked at me. What's going to happen? I smiled. Just trust me. The morning of the wedding, I got ready in silence. I put on my dress, my veil. I looked in the mirror. I wasn't walking down that aisle into a lie. Jake texted me. Mom said Emma's not on the list. She handled it. Handled it. I put the phone down. I walked into that venue knowing exactly what would happen. Diane didn't. The ceremony started. Emma was sitting in the front row, right where she belonged. Diane saw her, her face twisted. She stood up. Stop, she said, loud enough for everyone to hear. The officiant paused. Diane pointed at Emma. Emma is not family. She doesn't belong here. Remove her or this wedding is over. The guests gasped. Jake looked at me, then at his mother. He said nothing. The officiant nodded toward the back. The door opened. Judge Brennan walked down the aisle. He was wearing his robes. He was holding an envelope. Diane's mouth fell open. Who are you? I'm Judge Brennan, he said, executor of the estate of Robert and Claire Matthews. He looked at me, then at the crowd. Before anyone says I do, there's a will that needs reading. He opened the envelope. Clause 7. Both daughters must maintain their legal and emotional family bond. Outside interference voids distributions and triggers legal review. He pulled out his tablet, projected it onto the venue screen. Codicil, I have authority to protect that bond. Then he turned to Diane. Mrs. Patterson, 2 months ago you contacted the trust bank. You posed as concerned family. You attempted to interfere with the terms of this will. The screen showed the email. Once she's married, the sister won't matter. Gasps, whispers, Diane went pale. Under the terms of this will, Judge Brennan said, you are now flagged as a hostile party. Any further contact with this family or this trust will result in a restraining order and legal action for tortious interference. Silence, he handed me a signed order. The trust is secure. Your sister is family, proceed or don't, but you're protected either way. He nodded and walked out. I looked at Jake. Your move. He said nothing. I took Emma's hand. I thanked the guests, and we walked out. No vows, no I do. The wedding was over. The next few weeks were quiet. Diane's friends found out what she'd done. Most of them distanced themselves. Her social circle shrank. She and her husband lost credibility. A few business relationships fell apart. I didn't sue. I didn't need to. Judge Brennan's warning was enough. Jake sent apology texts. I should have stood up for you. For Emma, I'm sorry. I didn't respond. I blocked him. Some things you can't come back from. Emma and I used part of the trust to start a scholarship for young people raising siblings, guardian students. We named it after our parents. We took a trip, Paris, something Mom and Dad had always talked about doing with us. We stood at the top of the Eiffel Tower and cried, and laughed, and we healed. 2 years later, I met someone new, someone who, on our third date, asked about Emma, who wanted to know her favorite books, her dreams, someone who saw her as my sister, because she is. We got married last spring, small ceremony, just family and close friends. Judge Brennan officiated. Emma was my maid of honor. No drama, no ultimatums, just love. People ask me if I regret walking out of that first wedding. I don't. The hardest part wasn't the confrontation. It was realizing Jake had never seen Emma as family, which meant he'd never really seen me. Family isn't who shows up when it's convenient. It's who you protect when it costs you something. Boundaries aren't walls, they're foundations. I built mine that day, and I've never looked back. So here's my question for you. Has anyone ever tried to split you from someone you love? What did you do? Drop your story in the comments. And if this reminded you to protect your people, hit that subscribe button. You'll need it for the next one. Oh, and one more thing. This story is a fictionalized dramatization. It's not legal or financial advice. But it's a reminder to keep your records and to know your worth. Thanks for watching.